Hello, welcome back to lesson 3.3 part 2. We are going to extend our borrowing, buying stuff without money to two different types of paying interest as far as like credit cards. So credit cards are something that we call open-ended interest, open-ended credit. Which means that they tell you you have a credit limit and you can just keep putting money on that account or that credit card until you've hit your limit, which I don't recommend doing. But the first way that we're going to accumulate interest is called the unpaid balance method. So it says one way that banks calculate finance charges on a credit card is the unpaid balance method. In this case, interest is charged only on the balance left over from the previous month. Okay. So it says, so that means if you pay part of your balance, they're not charging you interest for all of it, only the part that you didn't get paid. Suppose that you had an unpaid balance of $356.75 at the beginning of August and made purchases of $436.50. A payment of $200 was made during the month. The interest on the unpaid balance is 1.8% per month. Our goal will be to find the finance charge and the balance on September 1st. The billing cycle for credit cards and loans can begin and end on any day of the month. However, for the examples given in this lesson, we'll assume the cycle ends on the last day of the month. Find the amount of interest that would be charged on the unpaid balance. Show your work. Okay, so use your answer from question 1 and the information about payments and purchases to find the new balance on the credit card. Okay. So it says, suppose that you had an unpaid balance of $356.75 at the beginning of August. So September 1st, you're going to pay interest on this unpaid balance. Interest on unpaid balance September 1st. Which is $356.75 times the interest rate of 0.018. So we are paying interest on that amount. And so we're going to pay $6.42 of interest on that amount left over. Then it says, use your answer from question 1 and the information about payment. So we had leftover balance. So we still owe $356.75 for that. We made purchases of $436.50. We made a payment, and I'm going to subtract that. So we're adding anything we owe, I'm adding, and I'm subtracting what I paid. So I did make a payment of $200 during the month, and then our interest was $6.42. And so at the beginning, oh wait, I'm sorry. This was, suppose you had an unpaid balance at the beginning of August. So this was August 1st. I'm making this is my interest for August 1st. And then during the month of September, I made purchases of $436.50. I made a payment of $200 even, and then my interest from August. And so my balance at the balance in September. Oh, geez, I read this incorrect. The balance on September 1st, right? Because we made purchases in August purchases. We made a payment during August. This is our leftover balance from July leftover balance. because this was on August 1st was this balance, and then our interest from July, basically. Okay, so we're going to add all of this up, and I'm going to do this in Desmos to show you. So we'd have $356.75 from July, plus the new purchases in August of $436.50, minus the payment in August, plus the interest from July. So my balance on September 1st would be $599.67. So I better pay that or I'm going to get more interest. And we don't want that. That's our unpaid balance method. The next method that we're going to do today is called the average daily balance method. And that's on page 296. So this method says, because a company that issues credit cards doesn't make as much money when users pay off the balance every month, they sometimes charge an annual fee for use of the card. Another way for them to make money from all users is to use the average daily balance method for computing the finance charge. In this method, the balance for each day of the month is used to compute an average daily balance, and interest is computed on that average. So in effect, consumers start paying interest on the day they make a purchase. Oh, we do not like this method. And I don't think I have any credit cards that do this because I pay mine off every month. Okay, so calculations using the average daily balance method can be done in a series of steps as illustrated by the next set of questions. The credit card statement shown here displays more detail on the account we studied in questions 1 and 2. So our balance from the end of July is right here. We made some purchases and then our $200 payment. The goal is to find the average daily balance, the finance charge for the month, and the new balance in September 3rd. So there's 3 things: the average daily balance, the finance charge for the month, and then the new balance. Okay. And the interest rate is 1.8% per month on the average daily balance. So write the new balance next to each day listed below in the first blank. Ignore the second blank for now. So we're ignoring the second column. We're just writing the new balance. So August 1st, the balance was $356.75. And then we made a purchase. So $356.75, and we made a purchase of $59.95. So our new balance is $416.70. And then we made another purchase of $223.75. So on August 12th, our new balance is $640.45. Then we made a payment on August 18th. So now we only owe $440.45. And then we made another purchase of $152.80 on August 24th. So our balance is $593.25. Just on purchases and payments, okay? Step 2 says, find the number of days for each balance. How many days was the balance at $356.75 using the same idea? Okay, so August 1st, it was this balance. So August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So 6 days. On the 7th, it changed because we made purchases. So there were 6 days. August 1st through the 6th, okay? Using the same idea, fill in the second blank. So August 7th, my balance is this until the 12th. So the 7th, the 8th. So I'm just going to write this down. The 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. Because on the 12th, it went up again. So 5 days. Then it was $640.45 for the 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then we have to remember that August has 31 days right here. So this has to add up to 31. So the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30, and 31st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 18 plus 5 is 23, and 8 is 31. So make sure, because not every month has the same number of days, right? So it's important that we make sure that we do that. Okay. So step 3 says, multiply each balance by the number of days and add these products. So we're going back to our balances. So copy the first 2 columns. So our balances are 356, 75, 6, 5, 6, 6, 8, and 4, 16, 70, 6, 40, 45, 4, 40, 45, and 5, 93, 25. So for 6 days, I was at this balance. For 5 days, I was at this balance. So there is a quick way you can do this in Desmos, and I'm going to show you because we can go ahead to Desmos here and make a table. And in column 1, I'm just going to put my balances. 356, 75, 416, 70, 640, 45, 440, 45, and 593.25. And then in Y1, I'm going to put the number of days, 6, 5, 6, 6, 8. And then here, I think I can just do X1 times Y1. And it will just multiply those for me. Okay. So X1 times Y1 is going to be my balance times number of days. It's going to be my third column. So 2140 and 50 cents. And then 2083 and 50 cents. And then 3,842 and 70 cents. And then 2,642 and 70 cents. And then 4,746 even. And then they asked us to go ahead and add those up right here. Try and see if I can, so go ahead and add yours up. I'm trying to see if I can do this. So if we go back to Desmos, we can tell Desmos to add those up. So in Desmos, I just put total, because you're going to need, this will be helpful when you get to unit 4, total, and then X1 times I1. So it's going to total this column right here, and it should be 15,455. Okay, 15,455 and 40 cents. So 15,455 and 40 cents. 640, 45, 440, 593.25. Okay. And then actually in Desmos, it says divide your answer by the number of days in August. So actually right here, we can just say divided by 31, and then it will give us our average daily balance. So I'm going to show my 15,455.40 divided by 31 on my page 297, just so I've got it documented, but it's $498.56. So I'm going to show you here how I did that. So this is my average daily balance. Recall that interest on this card is 1.8% per month. How much interest would we do on the average daily balance? So this is my average daily balance. So 498.56 times 0.018. So 498.56 times 0.018. So it looks like our interest on the average daily balance would be $8.97. And that was more than what we paid before, because before we were only paying interest of $6.42 on what was carried over from July. So a couple dollars more. Now it says find the balance that would appear on the next statement. So our next statement doesn't go by this average daily balance, and it doesn't go by this total. It goes by the balance at the end of the month. So end of August was $593 plus and 25 cents plus the interest of $8.97. So 593 and 25 cents plus 8.97. So 602 and 22 cents is what we would owe. And that compares to 599 and 67 cents. So the difference of our interest here. Okay. So page 298 says each month when you get a credit card statement, there's a minimum payment that must be made. Before 2003, these minimum payments had shrunk to the point that they didn't even cover the interest for the month. So if a cardholder paid just the minimum payment, the balance would continue to rise. In response to a public outcry, the federal government set new regulations in 2003 requiring credit card companies to set the minimum payment high enough that it covers the interest for the month as well as part of the principal balance. So you're at least being kind of forced to pay down. This is not to say that making minimum payments only is a good idea. If at all possible, you should always pay out the full amount each month. This is the only foolproof way to make sure that you don't get in the habit of spending more money than you can afford. We'll close this lesson by examining the effects of making only minimum payments. Suppose you have $2,300 balance on a credit card with an interest rate of 1.25% per month, and the minimum payment for any month is the amount of interest plus 2% of the principal balance, or $20, whichever is higher. If you don't make any more purchases on that card and make them a minimum payment for 6 months, how much will you pay down the balance? Let's find out. So it says, this certainly sounds like we'll need to compute some interest. After all, we were told that the interest rate is 1.25% per month, but sometimes problems contain extraneous information, meaning information that we don't need. Read the problem carefully and explain why we don't need to worry about the amount of interest in calculating how much the balance decreases. So this is the interest we're paying every month, but we're always paying down. It says, this certainly sounds like we'll need to. Okay, so it says to worry about the amount of interest in calculating how much balance decreases. So the balance decreases by 2% every month, no matter what, because we have to pay that portion. And then 1.25% is on whatever the remaining balance is. Okay. So number 10 says, in fact, what really matters is that the balance is going to decrease by 2% each month. Use this fact to find the new balance after month 1. So 2,300. So 2,300 times 0.02% means it's going down by $46. Right? Repeat your calculations from question 10 5 more times to find how much the balance would have decreased after 6 months. So if we're getting rid of 2%, that means we're keeping, let's just write this down. If we are getting rid of 2% each month, this certainly sounds like an exponential decay formula, right? I think so. That means we are keeping 100 minus 2% or 98%. So we could actually use an exponential equation. We started with a balance of 2,300, right? And because we have 2% decay, our growth factor is 0.98 to the X months. And we could just put in 6 for that, right? When X equals 6. So let's just go to, this is an extension problem, so don't worry. Probably wouldn't get this crazy on the final exam. So right here I am. I'm going to start a new one here in Decimal so you can see the blank screen here. So it would be 2,300 parentheses 0.98 parentheses raised to the 6th power. So after 6 months, we would have a balance of $2,037.44. And then 12 says, just make a guess. How long do you think it would take to pay off the full balance at this rate? Discuss, then ask your instructor to give their thoughts. So I'm going to just change this to be an X. And then I'm going to go and make this a Y equals. And I'm going to go up here to the gear and have it create a table of some values. And then I'm going to hit my magnifying glass. And then there's my equation. And I'm going to zoom out because this is definitely a decay. Okay, now it definitely looks like a decay. And it's never going to get to complete 0, right? I mean, there's always going to be something until you have to pay that $20, right? So I'm just going to add some values in the account here. I'm going to say in 10 months. Okay, what about 3 years would be 36 months. I'm still going to owe $1,000 in 3 years. 48 months would be, 4 years would be 48 months, right? Still in owing that. What about in 5 years would be 60 months. Still going to owe some. 6 years would be 72 months, still going to owe some. 7 years would be 7 times 12 is 84 months. Oh, getting closer. Oh, gosh. 8 years times 12 is 96 months. Oh, gosh. 9 years times 12 is 108 months. So 9 years, you guys, that's why you cannot have money on a credit card. Look at how 9 years later, off of only $2,300, they're still going to owe. They're still going to owe $359. So 10 years is going to be 120 months. They're still going to owe. 11 years is 132 months. Oh my gosh, you're still going to owe. 12 years is 144 months. 13 years is what? 156 months. Getting closer. 14 years is 168 months, almost. So 170, no, wait, 170 months, closer, 175 months, 180 months. Oh, no. So 180 months is 15 years. So just over, so 183 months, no, 185 months, 187 months. Oh my gosh. 189 months. Okay, so 16 years times 12. This is getting old. 192 months. Oh my gosh. So this is, so we're going to say 212 months. Still not there. 240 months. See, it just never, so we're down to at least the $20. So 235 months. Yeah, so 234 months. So at 234 months divided by 12 is almost 20 years before you have to just make the $20 minimum payment to pay the dang thing off. So all in all, try not to borrow money. Try not to put money on a credit card that you can't just pay off every month. I made my fair share of mistakes when I was in college and turned that all around and said, I'm not doing that anymore. And I just am encouraging you to try to live within your means. Sometimes it means not having the nicest car or the nicest home or the nicest clothes, and that's okay. You'll be happy that you did that in the end. Catch me back for lesson 3-4.